Macy found herself becoming more agitated between memory transitions. She had many questions, but before any of them could be answered, a new memory would fade in. And now Macy found herself back on the observation deck of the, as the Anunnaki called it, Sky Chariot. The philologist noticed Inky standing at the edge of a desk. She followed his gaze to the Rodan, who was hovering parallel with the flying craft. Upon close inspection, she noticed a small humanoid figure at the base of the giant's neck. It was Marduk. Then a bellowing cry pulled her attention to the ground below, where she saw a giant mountain moving towards a Mesopotamian-like city. She realized the mountain was actually a titan when it reared its massive body up and roared again, this time in the direction of the Rodan, who seemed to be oblivious of its surroundings. Macy noticed its pupils were dilated and it was lacking any kind of facial expressions. Something was wrong. For the last time the doctor had witnessed the beast, it was a blaze of emotion as it tried to attack the chariot. Then, without warning, Inky's voice filled her mind.
My son, you cannot do this.
Why do you try and stop me, Father? Of all in this world, you do see the purpose in my actions.
You are wrong, my son. This is not the way.
We created humans to help us rebuild civilization, and now they squandered the gift they have been given. They are a cancer, a disease, an abomination to our perfection. If they wish to act like beasts, then it will be by the great old one's might that they are destroyed. To stand as examples of improper behavior and its consequences.
They are living beings with souls. They are still young species who still have much to learn. Who are we to judge them as they grow and become something more than they are now?
We are their creators. It is by our hand, our will, they exist.
Macy tried to make out Marduk's actions as he began to tinker with something the good doctor could not make out from her vantage point. Moments later, the beast below them let out a cry as it dwarfed the city and its inhabitants, moving over it like a mountain in the clouds. Macy couldn't hear the screams of the people below as they tried to run away, but she realized they had nowhere to run. The Rodan Marduk was riding on was pincering them inside the city walls. If they got any closer, they'd risk being blown away by the hurricane-strength winds the flyer was producing, or worse, eaten. Inky's voice filled her mind once more.
This is not right. You should not be manipulating the old ones like this. You know not what you do, my son.
Be silent as I deliver punishment to the apostasy these wretched humans have displayed, killing and manipulating each other as if they were gods themselves. This planet is under my protection, and I will fulfill this task however is necessary, including manipulating the old ones if need be.
One last roar from the giant mountain below drowned out the screams of the people underneath as it descended to the ground, the titan slamming into the earth beneath it, completely flattening the city beneath its body. The creature wiggled and turned as it dug itself into the soil and dirt where the ancient city once stood. After the smoke and dust clouds settled, all Macy found was a giant mountain in the spot where the city once stood. The beast closed its eyes and drifted off into a slumber. And just like that, the Anunnaki had done what he said he would do. Inky dropped to his knees as he began to weep. Macy was intrigued as his voice filled her mind.
I did not want to believe Osiris, but you have gone mad. This is not our way.
Our way? You mean your way. Your way is the way of an ancient and arrogant race who thought they were so divine that they could be the masters of the universe. And this is why we are here, now, on this planet. I will not let you or Enlil or anyone ruin this planet like you ruined yours. And I will not let my wretched brother undermine all I have worked to achieve. He thinks he can marry Inanna, unite the families, and rule this planet that was given to me? This is my planet.
Macy didn't have time to process what she had just witnessed when the memory faded anew. Now the doctor found herself in a large room with giant pillars that held up the ceiling, which showcased a glass dome allowing her to view the blue sky above. Voices caught her attention as she turned around to find a pair of Anunnaki playing with the infant Gojira. She recognized Inanna, who was laughing as Gojira wrestled with a young adult male, to whom she was unfamiliar. She approached the trio so she could better make out what they were saying.
Come now, Osiris. Do be careful not to hurt him.
Him? I'm fighting this heavy child to breathe, and you're worried about me hurting him?
Gojira laid on top of Osiris, who was attempting to push the infant off to no avail. It reminded Macy of seeing bears at her local zoo playing with their keepers. Finding some leverage as he maneuvered his legs out from underneath, Osiris used the weight of Gojira to roll over on top of the young beast.
Ha! Now I have you.
Macy watched as the Anunnaki began to scratch, tickle the youngling as it barked and wiggled with delight. It began to gnaw on Osiris's arm, still wagging its tail and kicking its legs.
Now, that hurts a little.
Osiris pulled his arm away as he made his way to his feet, leaving the juvenile resting on the ground. He turned and began to head towards Inanna when Gojira tripped him with his tail. The Anunnaki stumbled, but maintained his balance as he continued towards his companion. That's when Macy noticed the smaller humans to either side of Inanna. It was the first time the doctor was able to get a good reference for size comparison. Although the humans were adults, draped in white garments that revealed very little, they were like children to the towering Anunnaki.
Well, that was invigorating.
Indeed, my love. But I do not believe he's done with you.
With lightning-fast agility, Osiris spun around as Gojira slammed into him. He caught the young beast, and using its own momentum, threw the juvenile over his hip, slamming it into the stone floor, causing it to crack and fissure. Gojira cried out in pain as it flailed on the ground in confusion.
Oh, my love, that hurt him.
He is just stunned. He thought he could surprise me. He will learn.
But he is just a babe. Do you not think your actions a little excessive?
Gojira continued to cry out as it made its way to its feet. Macy noticed it limping as it continued to cry out, its eyes and stubby dorsal spines glowing a bright blue. Then she felt the trembling of footsteps that seemed to be getting closer. She watched as Inanna chased after the injured Gojira, making their way to the entrance. Moments later, the room fell dark as a large, shadowy figure appeared above the glass ceiling. Macy could tell it was a member of Gojira's family, but she couldn't tell which one it was from her point of view. The edges of the figure began to glow blue as well as its eyes. It was Dagon, Gojira's older sibling. Then Macy saw a smaller figure appear on top of the beast's head. Osiris's voice pulled her attention back to him.
Marduk? Brother? What is the meaning of this?
Macy looked back at the figure who stood atop the towering titan.
This is the last time you undermine my authority. This is my planet to shepherd and rule, not yours, not any one of Enlil's accursed bloodline.
Brother,
You shouldn't have hurt the youngling.
As if on cue, Dagon released its atomic breath. Macy watched the glass shatter and the stone crumble as the blast obliterated the spot where Osiris was standing. before being overcome by a brilliant, bright explosion. The white that surrounded her faded into a new memory. This time she found herself in a large room, but smaller than the last one. There was a large circular table with Anunnaki sitting all around it. She recognized Inky and Lil and their spouses, as well as Inanna, who was in tears. She assumed the others were the rest of their children, which had all grown in number, and all of which had angered or disturbed looks on their faces. Inky caught her attention as he spoke.
It is true. Marduk has somehow modified the communications device to control the Old Ones. But I am not sure how he has done it. It matters not. He killed Osiris, his own brother. I demand his death. A life for a life.
The room fell silent for a moment. Then Inky spoke again.
Brother has already killed brother. Is there no other way? I mourn the loss of my son as well, and I could not bear to lose another child. Father!
When we first arrived, it was declared I shall be the one to dispense justice. Not only has he killed his own brother, but he has built armies of the humans and enlisted the aid of the Old Ones, some against their will. His crimes are great and severe. We will go to war with Marduk.
Inky looked down at the table in dismay. All of the Anunnaki, save for Inanna, seemed to be overwhelmed with conflicting emotions. Macy watched as Hera, with tears in her eyes, quickly stood up and left the room, followed by Nima. And Lil's voice caught her attention.
Leave us. I would speak with Lord Inky alone.
Moments later, the room was almost empty, save for Enlil, Inky, and herself.
I regret what I must do, brother.
He has brought this on himself. He has violated our rules and abused trust we have with the Old Ones. My oldest has murdered my youngest. Are we destined to repeat the past? Or is it by our own choosing, the fate we walk?
Macy was confused. What did he mean by the past?
Do not speak such words. All we can do now is deal with the present. Once we recover from the situation, we will decide the fate of the humans' future.
Will you use them as Marduk is? To raise an army to meet his own?
Macy looked at Enlil, who was deep in thought. Then he answered.
I do not wish to bring harm to the humans or the Old Ones. I have been developing a weapon. In the event that we did not favor with the Old Ones, this weapon would defend us.
Inky looked at Enlil with a dreadful curiosity.
The crystals of this world have a fundamental ability to absorb, store, and redirect energies of this planet. I have combined the genetic code of Kronos and Dagon with the crystals.
You have created another abomination.
I have ensured our swift victory in this conflict. This beast will prevent the need or use of humans and the Old Ones.
And what of the beast after?
It has been engineered so that it cannot reproduce. I have also implanted a chemical substance which upon release will nullify the creature's central nervous system.
Disposable beings. We are not the creator of all. We are walking a blade's edge, Enlil, my brother. This is not right, even if it is the best option.
When faced with such dilemmas, how does one truly know right from wrong?